Today, we're going to tackle the ever elusive concept of time management. Now, I know you're the kind of woman who's been around the block a few times in the business world. You've commanded boardrooms, propelled startups to success, and maybe even managed to coach your kids' soccer team between times and find time to attend dance recitals or basketball games for your kids. Yes, you're no stranger to the power of a well placed, yes, I can do that, or the strategic art of delegation. But despite all of this, the clock often feels like it's working against you, right? How often have you thought, if only I could clone myself, then I'd get to do that passion project of mine? Or I'd love to go to that networking event, but there's just no time. How many times have you said, I need more hours in the day? It's like you're in this constant tug of war with the clock. Your desired outcome, though, isn't just more hours in the day, though you say it and you scream for it. It's really, you want more meaningful hours. You want time that lets you focus on scaling your business, mentoring your team at work, or even taking a well deserved weekend getaway without the laptop. So, what's on the agenda today? Well, we're going to start off talking about mastering prioritization, which is a key to making meaningful time happen, optimizing your time. We're going to start with a unique twist on the Eisenhower Matrix. Have you heard of it? You'll learn about it, if not, to sharpen your decision making. And we're going to give it a tried and true method of task categories, but yet we're going to give it that Dr. Geneva twist. And for those of you I haven't met yet, I am Dr. Geneva. I'm a mentor, strategist, leader, have run multi-million-dollar organizations, wife, mother, wear all the hats, and have really learned how to optimize time. And so when we talk about managing that prioritization, and we're going to get to that in that section, my twist is called score and start. So we're going to go through how to list your tasks and categorize them and give them importance and urgency. And the outcome of all of that, why would we do it, is it will help you make crystal clear decisions that distinguish between those things that are urgent and those that are truly important. And this isn't just for work. Apply this to your personal life and watch how your focus sharpens. Then we're going to look at some unique strategies for productivity. In case you're tired of the same old management hacks, we're going to explore some unique, actionable strategies, and we'll delve into some task batching and how to minimize the mental drain of switching from task to task, which you shouldn't be doing. And so I want you to imagine freeing up whole days for strategic planning or just some deep work just by working with and clustering all of your meetings together. It's another hack we'll talk about. And the outcome here that we want to see is for you to optimize your time utilization for career growth and personal pursuits. And then, we can't talk about productivity without acknowledging the other side of the coin, and that's self-care. And, I got to talk about that. I always do, because that is so important to us highly ambitious women. Sometimes we forget about it, but we're going to talk about how you can balance that productivity with self-care was talking about strategies like impact journaling and things that are designed to integrate self-care into your daily routines with ease. And these just aren't feel good activities I want to talk to you about, but they're really essential for long term resilience and mental well being. So that's what's on the agenda for today. And after I cover those things, hey, let's get into some questions. I'll be there for that and hearing all your comments and concerns, and want to welcome all of you to today. So first, I want to focus on the whole aspect of um, prioritizing, because once we can prioritize, we really can choose what's good for us and what works for us. And I got a lot of sun coming in today, and that's a good thing, isn't it? Oh my goodness, I don't know where you are, where you're joining me, but today I'm getting all this sun coming in here. Hope you can still see me out there. Hello. So listen, let's talk about mastering prioritization. Now, you may be familiar with what's called the Eisenhower Matrix. I discovered this way, way, way back and have used it for many years. And this is really the basis of how I prioritize what it is I have to do. And this gives clarity just for those things that matter. Because so often I found myself, well, is it really that important? Or how do I have to get to it that soon? And what's the ASAP? That as soon as possible. What does that mean? And those kinds of things. I used to always sweat it, and I wasn't real clear on what was urgent, what was important. And then how did that have anything to do with how I planned my day or how I used my time? This system will help you get that clarity on what's important and urgent, and also help you focus on the things that matter in the time that they matter. And what happens in the long term when you learn how to master determining priorities for yourself, for your work, for your business, whatever it is that you're doing, the long term benefits help you achieve really what it is that you want to, and spike your productivity and get you to that happiness and good business and success and all those things that you desire. Okay. So let's take a look at the matrix system as it's really designed. Then I want to give you my twist. Okay. But basically, this system talks about, and I like buckets, to put things in buckets. So the buckets are those things, there's one bucket for those things that are urgent and important. And that means that there's a heavy time consideration, it's timely, and then it's important to you, to your goals, to your family, to what it is you want to achieve, to your business, whatever you determine that importance is. And in that bucket, whatever you put in that bucket, those are the things you should be doing. That's what you should be focusing your time on. That's what you should be prioritizing your time. You get it? So if it goes in that bucket, that's what you should be doing. And another bucket are those tasks and projects and activities that mean something. They're meaningful. But in terms of when you got to get them done, it's not like that right away. So you have some flexibility with the when. And these are activities that go into that bucket. These are the things you can plan for. You don't have to do them right away and be focused on them and put that as your let's do this today, like the things in your urgent and important bucket. But they're things that you want to schedule and plan for. The third bucket are those things that are urgent. They right there in your face, got to get done. But you know, when you think about comparing them to your goals and the things that are important, your business or your health or your family or whatever those things that you deem as important, they really aren't that important. Okay. The things in this bucket are ripe for delegation. Mm, yes. These are the things that you can find somebody to help you with, that you got to get this room clean. It's urgent that you do it. You're tired of looking at you got to do it, but really, in the scale of things, you don't really think it's that important. Maybe you can hire someone to clean that room, or maybe you can get the kids to stop what they're doing and come pick up, etc. It's that kind of bucket. And then the final bucket, which happens to be my favorite bucket, because I love being able to put things in this bucket. And this bucket are those things that are they ain't important and they ain't urgent. Okay. And things in this bucket, you need to stop doing. You don't do. You forget them, you put them to the side, unless their status changes. Mm. And when you really go through this process of really figuring out what the values are attached to importance and urgency of certain tasks, this helps you really prioritize and get your thinking together. You with me? So let me share with you what my system is. Now I used that matrix system for years, and then through practice I developed my own. I call it GPS, Geneva's Priority Scoring. Okay, GPS, remember that. And it's a lot simpler, but it works for me because what happened with me as I got moving and grooving with the matrix system and really began to appreciate this whole concept of balancing importance and urgency and bringing them together and looking at that, it really expanded my horizons. And I found myself being much more productive and having much more time focused on the things that I wanted. But as I began to use it and become more of an expert in doing it and practicing it, I began to figure out some twists that made it even easier for me, because sometimes I had difficulty there were so many tasks in a bucket, that important and urgent bucket, I couldn't distinguish. That's when I developed this priority system. It's very simple. You list your task, all the things you have to do, and then you assign a value to each of those tasks, whether you rate, you score, excuse me, whether it's important or urgent. Excuse me, always have some water next to me. And that's a tip. When we talk about self-care, productivity, and everything, always keep some water next to you, whether you need it or you just look at it and say, I should be drinking it, and you pick it up. Okay. List the task, assign importance and urgency, and what you do is on a scale from 1 to 3, with 1 being the highest. So if the task is very important, you're going to give it a 1. If the task is not really urgent, you're going to give it a 2, let's say, or maybe even a 3. And then you take those 2 numbers, you add them up, you score it, and then you start doing what it is you need to do. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example, and perhaps it's an example that you all have maybe had the chance to look at, to use, because I'm putting on here some tasks that perhaps are familiar with you. So, okay, so this is real life. This might look like your task list. I know it often look like mine. So you have the task of you have to finish a proposal. You have to get together with your team. You have to check them emails. Oh my goodness, yes. You have to create reports and you want to plan your family vacation. You know, you'd have to do that. You know, you need to do that. You know, I put a poll on LinkedIn several months ago and I asked how many people um, uh, had, spent time going on a staycation. When was the last? That was the when was the last staycation you went on? Just something to get away. There weren't a lot of you going on those getaways. So, you need to plan that vacation, read things that are in your industry so that you can keep up, review a budget. So let's say this is your task list. Your list may look a little different, okay? But you got a list of tasks. And then you go and you would assign each one a value. So in this example, I think finishing this proposal is of highest importance because it's a proposal to some investors so I can get some money. Okay, so that's important, number one. And then you ask yourself this one task, you stay with the one task now. You ask yourself, well, how urgent it is. Well, the deadline is 2 days from now. Okay. And I want to make this deadline. There's another round coming, but I want to make this deadline because it's important for me to get my foot in the door. I need the money. I might be able to make the next deadline, but I really want to do this. So it's urgent for me. And then you total those two, those 1 and 1 equals 2. And I kept it, this is why I keep it simple and keep it from 1 to 3, because these are small numbers, they're simple numbers. So you can add 1 and 1 is 2. Okay. And then let's look at scheduling that team meeting. Now, it's important, I need to do it, but in the realm of things of what I have to do, actually scheduling it now isn't that important right now. So I'm going to assign that a 2, but I need to do it. So I've given it a 1. So you see how with each task you look at it based upon, don't look at your other tasks, don't look at anything else. You look at that one task and assign importance or urgency, and then you total it. And then you go through, and there's no right or wrong. It's what you think, which is the other reason why I love this system, because it's what you think in your head. And it gets you to focus on one thing and for you to ask yourself what the questions are. And so you can see planned family vacation, got 1s, and then, reading those industry news. It's kind of not that important. I'm kind of up to date, at least this past week or 2. And it certainly isn't urgent because at any time I want to, I can probably pick up a newspaper or go online and catch up. So that's why that got that score. But here's the point. See the totals? See them totals? Can you all see my pointer? I know I'm pointing. I don't know if you can see it, but the lowest scored ones, hear me now, are the ones you start with. Okay, so this is my score and start. Remember, I told you have the Eisenhower Matrix where you take the buckets and you can determine that's one system. This is a variation of that system. So once you get to the score and you start with your lowest score ones, because that means finishing that proposal not only isn't important, but it's urgent. That got a score of 2. So you see, we thought about the value of both importance and urgency. And what I've learned in my years is that both matter. They both play into the things that identify the things that matter, that are important, that have value, that can make a difference, can make an impact. And that's really what we're talking about. When I think about importance, I think about impact. and what matters. But however you determine that, so you score that, and then you take the urgency and you look at your time consideration. So that's not out the window. Okay. So if you got questions about that, at the end, I'm going to take any questions you might have on this system. But let me tell you, it works. It works. Please try it. Give it a try. And I hope that you will. Well, I know you're going to find some benefits of it. You will get, you'll find this real clarity, how things can be real clear, and then you'll discover also how you really your focus is increased, and you can really zero in on those things that matter and are important. You can really zero in. And again, the long-term benefits of this is that, again, you're focusing on those things that matter because you've given prioritization, and giving prioritization, understanding what's important in life and in business matters over the long term. Okay. So I wanted to spend some time with that. I hope you found some value in this section on enhancing, increasing, maximizing your productivity and how that relates to time. Because if you're focusing on the things that are important, you're using your time, you're optimizing your time so that you can do those things that you want to. So now let's talk a little bit about some productivity strategies. And I don't want to, we all got strategies and tips, et cetera. And I want to perhaps share some that are a little bit more unique with you, that can help you achieve more in less time, and these strategies really focus on optimizing time. See, I'm not sure it's so much a question of time management, though that's the phrase we use because we're all familiar with that. When you say time management, everybody knows what you're talking about. But I think as we dive a little deeper and think about it a little more, it really is about optimizing your time, making the best use of your time. Because you know what? I don't care who you are, how much you ask, how much you pray, no matter what you do, there ain't no more than 24 hours in a day. Period. It's 24 hours. So it's really not about getting more hours because you ain't going to get more than 24. But what do you do with those hours? How can you optimize, make them meaningful, minimize distractions? And so that's what I think is important. So I want to leave you with these productivity strategies that are very actionable. You can start them right away. So the first is to take a productivity sabbatical. So these are those scheduled breaks that you just jam packed with rejuvenating activities. Now this could be an hour, a day, a weekend. Do you understand what I'm saying? It could be, but the thing is, what you're doing is you're saying, up, stop, I'm getting away, I'm scheduling it, and I'm going to do some things that are fun, rejuvenating, creative, and it's purposeful, with purpose. Okay. So think about that and schedule. You hear people who go on sabbatical all the time. Don't you? Have you heard somebody say, "Oh, I went on sabbatical"? Don't you want to go on sabbatical? You can take your sabbatical. Okay. The second productivity strategy I wanted to suggest to you is that this intentionally unplugging, but with a little difference, a little twist. And so this is, of course, taking those short work breaks. And, you've always heard that, rest, take a break, etc. But this time, I want you to do something creative or different. Okay. So, in other words, I'm going to take a break. I'm taking 30 minutes. Go and paint. take 45-minute break and go find a new dish to cook, something new to fix. Go read a book that is so exciting, and something that you've wanted to dive into. The point is to do something creative or different that can, zhuzh up your creativity juices. That's what it is we're trying to do. Okay, so this is different than go take a break and go take a walk. And I ain't got nothing against that, because I do that, and that's great. That's fabulous. What I'm suggesting is you can also put into your arsenal of productivity strategies, doing something creative like drawing or painting, or go get that coloring book. Y'all got coloring books, right? Oh dear, but coloring books, that's a fabulous tip. Go on Amazon, order yourself some coloring books and some fabulous pencils. It's fantastic. Get that coloring book and go take a half an hour and just color. See, it juices up your mind, get that side of the brain with that creativity. And when you finish, you're going to have this release sense, this relief, this feeling of creativity and spirit, etc. That's the point of these breaks. Okay. So not just taking a walk, looking at nature, those are good, but doing something creative or something different that you've never done before. So if you want to go and you've never skied before, now, that's a little bit more than a short break, but who knows? Maybe you're at the mountain lodge and you weren't planning to ski, but all of a sudden you said, maybe you brought your laptop with you, okay? And you say, I need to do something different. Put it down and go out there and ski. Trust, when you come back, you'll be thinking and feeling different, okay? You get the point of that? And then finally, and this is one of my favorites, batch similar task. And that is, you group together things that are very similar and you tackle them all in the same group. Like if you're going to do a video, prepare for a video, you might write the script, you might look for thumbnails, you might figure out the title, you might write the introduction, but you do it all at one time in the same time. If you're cleaning up, you might want to clean your office. So clean your office, put away, those things in your office that they're similar, they're office supplies and things that you have in your office. Do those similar kinds of things together. And this really, what it does is, this is one of those things that focuses you, helps to minimize distractions. So if you're focused on, well, I'm going to write the script and everything else that's related to it, I'm going to have a creative hour and do that, and that you're focused on it, it helps to minimize those distractions that always happen. I know when I'm doing reels, I like to do 5 and 10 of them within an hour or so. So I'm totally focused on that. My mind is on it. I have you all in mind. I'm doing what you tell me you're interested in, the things that I've learned, the wisdom that I want to share. I am focused. I'm all on you for that hour as I'm creating these reels. And I don't get no distractions. I mean, yeah, the phone may ring. My mind might wander for a second, but because I'm saying I'm going to do this for an hour, I've batched that time and I put together all the similar things related to it. So anyway, try it. Try it. Then I want to also, we can't leave the conversation. We just cannot leave a conversation without talking about self-care. When we talk about productivity on one hand and self-care on the other, you need to know they're different sides of the same coin. You look, you know what I'm saying. It's right here on the slide. It says it. two sides of the same coin. That's what it is. And that really is important because as we're, you know, focusing on being productive, focusing on being focused on doing those things that are important and meaningful, we have to balance self care. So I wanted to share just a few that you might want to think about that you can ease into your daily routine. And again, the long term benefits of this, of course, is just to enhance your well being. And again, that all relates to the time thing because, see, if you feel good, if you feel good, you're going to do better. So if you're feeling good with yourself, you're taking care of yourself, you're going to have higher productivity levels. And, we've talked about this before. There's lots of videos you can go check out on my profile. Come over to elevatenextlevelsuccess.com. Lots of ways that we talk about that. But in this context of time optimization, I wanted to just leave you with these three that I'd like you to think about and try. And so one of the strategies is to make these 2-minute care moves. Okay. That, in other words, that you do, sometimes when we talk about self-care, it's, oh, do I have my hour for a massage? It's just like, what can I do? Where do I have the time to? So what I'm saying is you can do self-care moves in 2 minutes or less. Okay. So things like stretching, things like running in place, things like smelling and looking. Well, this, I went to smell this, I was thinking, what I was going to say was smell a flower. And then as it was coming towards my face, I realized, well, this is a plant. You can't really smell it, but you can enjoy it. Okay. So you can enjoy looking at plants. But if you had flowers, smelling some time for the flowers, lighting a candle, but things that you can do that just take 2 minutes or less. And just see, you can infuse that in through your day. So think about that as you're working hard, just a 2 minute, just put some in there. The second thing I wanted to invite you to try is impact journaling. Now, many of you journal, and that's fabulous, whether it's in the morning or the evening. Whenever you journal, I'm suggesting that maybe once a week, you make notes on the positive ways that self-care can help you work. Okay. So that's being very intentional about, thinking about, well, if I take some time to take that walk and breathe in the air. And I did that today. I went down, I walked by the river and I saw the water and the sun and the birds were flying and, they were chirping, the grass was green. And I said, oh, it's a beautiful day. When that night you're writing in your journal, I want you to talk about, well, how did all that wonderfulness, being outside, enjoying nature, seeing the sun, that beautiful day, how did it make me feel about my work? So, did it make you, give you more energy? Did you get a great idea as you were looking across at the water, as you were coming back inside and ran into a friend and you talked? Did that give you an idea about something? Did you make a connection? The point is, whatever you do about, or whatever self-care activities you do during the day, even if it's only one, but it's going to be at least one, right? Even if it's only one, journal about write about, reflect on how did that make me feel while I was working on my productivity? What kind of effect did it have or could it have, or do I hope it will have? So you see, so in other words, you're being intentional about the effects and the impact of self-care on work being productive. And then the final thing is, and I'm probably going to do a separate video on this one day, and it's about this energy flow, and so the strategy is that you would log and you would make a note of the activities that either boost you or drain you. But this whole concept of energy flow and doing things when you're in the right space, the right um, feel, and you'll hear this played out like you'll hear people say, well, I'm a morning person or I'm an evening person. And you know what you are, you know what kind of person you are. And that is when you really feel the most alive and you feel like you can conquer the world. What time of day is it? For me, I'm a morning person. My clock is set, and my family and friends, they all know this. My clock is set for 5:15 every day, 7 days a week. It's just a habit I've got into. Long story, but it's a habit that I got into because so I don't know which came first, whether I was a morning person and then got up at 5:15 real early, or got up real early and became a morning. I don't know what was first, but I know what I do know is my energy is the highest, like from 5 to maybe 1-ish, 2-ish. After that, I'm on a down curve, and then I'm in the bed 8:30. And my husband and I really had that same routine for years. We really did. We were both morning people, although he could stay up much later. I couldn't. But the thing is, if you know your energy flow and where it is you want to do your most, we'll go back to important and urgent. You want to do those things when your energy flow is the highest. Okay. So for me, I don't check an email in the morning. Okay. Because that doesn't, and checking emails does not fall on my important, urgent thing. Okay. It doesn't have high value. And if I check them, it would disrupt. If I check them in the morning, it would disrupt my energy flow. So finding where your energy flow is fantastic. And not just finding it, but also doing those things that are important and urgent and have value to you, those high impact activities. Doing them during that time is, you get that energy going and make you feel good, and you're doing the things you want to do. So energy flow. When does your energy flow? Morning, evening, midday? But finding it, as well as these other strategies that I've talked about, really will help you enhance your productivity, unlock your potential for better use of time, optimize uh, how you do what you do when you do. And so looking at prioritization, how best to prioritize, the strategies that we can use to enhance our productivity that make best use of our time, and always remembering to balance productivity with self-care are strategies that I think I'm really convinced will help you find your time optimization and make the best use of your time so that you can do what it is that you want to do and feel like you have all the hours in the world to be your successful, high achieving self. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And now I want to say good morning to all. Oh, everyone is just hi. Everyone is here. Good morning. Good morning. I see all of you. What are your questions? Oh, good to see you from Texas, from Detroit, from all over. Yes, that's right, Maria. There's only 24 hours in the day. And, really, it's all about how we use them and think about, as opposed to just thinking about, oh, I wish I had more time. Oh, I wish I this. Think about, well, you don't have to because you ain't going to get more hours. You ain't going to get that. But you can get tons of strategies. You can use these strategies. You can use others that you come up with. Um, so think about it. So Maria asked, can I please get a copy of these PowerPoint slides, please? Yes, you can, Maria. Let me tell you. And I want you to go to Elevate Next Level Success. You see it right here, ELEVATE, Next Level Success.com. Come on over there, join my community. PowerPoint will be available for you. Would love to have you pick that up, but also Maria would love to have you join my community and be with us as we're learning all of these strategies, as we're enhancing. You all are high achieving, ambitious, beautiful women who know what's happening. You've got it. You've had a test or two. You've gone through life challenges and changes and transitions. And oftentimes you're probably thinking, well, what's next? Or how do I better optimize my time as I'm maturing, as I'm, trying to figure out what to do next? And I think this whole conversation about optimizing our time becomes so important for us who are in our midlife or in their third season, like I am, because time is so precious and we want to have the most that we can get as possible. And so come on over to Elevate Next Level Success. How you doing, Dr. Trinette? So good to see you. Sean, how are you? Oh, Sean is loving the strategies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. More where that comes from. I'm telling you, join me every Wednesday, 9 o'clock for a live stream. But here's the thing I would love for you to do more. Share it. If you like the content, share this. Share it with other folk who would benefit from it, would like for it. Now so Najia, how are you? I feel like I go down a rabbit hole, what ifs, when identifying which task is important and urgent. Got it, because you keep going around and around trying to figure out the importance. Is that what I think that's what I'm hearing you say? Perhaps there's a little overthinking it. That's what I used to do. That's what I meant by when I started the matrix system. Oh, it was fabulous. So I got deep into it, learned the concepts, because I think it's important to learn the concepts. But then as I began to, do the buckets, I put in that, it was just, I was dealing with it, struggling with it. And what if this and what? And so it would end up taking me most of the day. That's an exaggeration, but it ended up taking me too long to decide, what was important and what was urgent, because I was thinking of what if all the things that I didn't say were important, but aren't they? And but I do have to do that now. They said ASAP for that report. Oh, yeah, as soon as possible. I mean, I would just, I would just overthink it. That's when I devised this system that I showed you. That I devised this because you see, it's 3 simple steps. That's why I want you to try this. Don't overthink it. You put your task, your to do on a piece of paper. Then you take each task and you're going to go 1 to 3. And that's what you're going to ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 3, with 1 being the highest. How important is this? And listen, Naja, it's just 3 numbers. Okay. So the most important is 1, maybe. So that's where you can put that. I'm not sure. You can put number 2 for that. And number 3 is, I'm not even sure why it's on the list. I mean, that's okay. And then go to importance and then total it. And once you score it, start. Because you're told they're going to come right there. The numbers ain't going to lie. They're going to come right there and get started. Just try it. Again, as that's how I really developed my twist, was because I was going down that same rabbit hole. And sometimes even today, these days, about different things, I'll find myself going down a rabbit hole and I'll say, oh, I'm going down the rabbit hole. Let me come out, which is the other technique. When you feel yourself going down, say, oh, let me come out. And just turn right away, turn your back on it and go out. Okay? Oh, yes, yes. And so I wanted to see, so many comments. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, oversharing, overthinking. Yes, yes. And thank you, Sean, for sharing the content. Thank you. Get others to join. We go through these things. And if there are subjects that or topics that you all want to talk about, I remember what it was like in my, midlife, my 40s to 60s. I do. And that's why I worked out. That's why I worked out my stuff. It really is. And that's, I became head of a multi-million-dollar organization, first woman head in my early 40s. And that led to a series of bigger and bigger accomplishments, lots of public eye stuff, lots of mistakes, lots of failures, lots of second guessing myself, lots of successes, just a whole series of things. And ran into a number of issues that were important and needed to be worked out. And so one of the things that why I set up Elevate Next Level Success is to help others with what I did, work it out, find ways to work it out and do these videos and come to you live. Okay, so we're getting ready to, here's a question. We've got a question here. How much time should we work on urgent tasks? That's a good one. Ooh, I love it. So that's really something that gets into how do you schedule your time and determining what the urgency is. So if you've decided that something is urgent, got to get it done, work on it till it get done. That's how much time you should spend on it. Assuming that it's high urgency and high importance. Okay? Because, see, sometimes we spend time working on things that are right here in our face. And usually those things, not all the time, but a lot of times they come from other people. I need that report. Where is the report, the project? When are you going to do? Those kinds of things that are right there in our face. So kind of spend some time determining that. Whose urgency is it? So that you're very careful when you think about urgency. Okay. But I want you to match it with importance. Because if it's just as urgent as it is important, in other words, those two things match. So it's okay if the urgency is, a project that somebody needs or what have you. Is it also important to your career advancement? Is it also important to your business? Is it important to you and your family life? So if you have the importance and urgency, then the time that you spend on doing that urgent task is the time that it takes to get it done. Okay? Get it done. Now, I can also do a video perhaps on how we organize our work when we're in it. So if that's something you want to spend some time with, I love that as well. So let's do that too. Okay, so thank you so much for your comments. Good. I'm glad you're going to try it. Yes, that's a good question. Oh, thank you very much. Amazing content from that LinkedIn user. Thank you so much. And Brenda, it's so good to see you as always. Thanks for being here. Thank you all. And, we're going to wrap up. I want to see you next. Oh, thank you. So you're going to go over to Marie, you're going to go over to Elevate Next Level Success and join. Thank you. Thank you. Please join me over there. Want to say special good morning to my favorite doctor. Yes, indeed. Coming to us from Texas. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So please stay tuned for next week. I just wanted to say, oh, wait a minute. Is that my home girl? That's my home girl. How you doing, Carol? Good morning to you. That's my home girl from New Jersey, Neptune, New Jersey, on the Jersey Shore. Good morning. Good morning. So thank you all for being here. Really appreciate you. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. I'm going to end with that wonderful comment. Thank you. That just brings joy to my heart. Thank you so much. And wait a minute. Do I see? There she is. Good morning, LaShonda. How are you? Yes, indeed. World's best accountant, world's best CPA, world's best school operator manager. There she is. How are you doing, LaShonda? We got to connect soon. Good to see you this morning. Thanks for joining in and doing all that you do, not only for people who need help with their finances and their financial management and their auditing, but also what you do for children as you work with charter schools and various events and things that, just help make our community better. Love you back. Okay. Thank you for everything. And listen, I'm going to see you next time. Bye. Mwah. Love you. See you next Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Tell your friends. Come on over. Bye.